The #MeToo movement is a modern and vital tool against fighting the unending cases of violence and sexual harassment against women that are surfacing every day. The movement is unaffected by national borders and has managed to surge across every country, with each region creating their own socially acceptable form of the movement. The newest career-wrecking allegation of sexual abuse is against the Canadian-Chinese pop star Kris Wu, which is yet another example of the Chinese adaptation of the same aforementioned undying movement. Watch the full video for a complete and in-depth account of the outrageous incident. So who is this Chinese-Canadian icon? Kris Wu, aged 30, was originally born in southern China but soon took up his Canadian citizenship. The bloom of his career is credited to his involvement with the popular Korean Chinese boy band called EXO, but eventually Wu decided to pursue other opportunities and formally left the band in 2016. His popularity only continued to increase as a solo artist, but Wu was a jack of all trades, and he managed to grab prominent lead roles in movies due to his acting skills. The young man modeled for namesake brands such as the iconic French fashion house Louis Vuitton, Italian luxury brand Bulgari, and Chinese cosmetics brand Cannes Burberry, quickly becoming one of the country's top brand ambassadors. The career-crushing allegations. The backstory of the allegations against him is important. It all began when Wu was first detained on July 31, 2021 by Chinese authorities in the Chinese capital of Beijing. A social media storm was quick to follow, and the sexual assault allegations pitted against him have become the most high-profile #MeToo case of China. The situation took root a month before on a traditional Chinese social media platform Weibo, when a woman posting under the verified handle Du Meizhu made alleged claims of sexual assault against Wu, whose full Chinese name is Wu Yifan. She claimed that she had gone to the star's home for a supposed casting interview, and he had forced her into alcoholic indulgence and then went on to sexually abuse her later that same day when she was in a poor drunk state. But that's not all. The woman, said to be a student at the Communication University of China in Beijing City, said she was 17 at the time when the alleged assault took place. Further on, she claims that several other women, including 2 underage minors, had likewise reached out to her to share similar experiences of having been lured into having forceful intercourse by Wu, known as one of China's biggest stars. Wu's legal representatives took a surprisingly quiet stance after these allegations surfaced, not making any statements at all when requested by China's popular news channel CNN for a response. The formal statement from the prosecutor's office of Chaoyang District in Beijing released a statement pertaining to the news that Wu's arrest for suspected rape has been formally approved that Monday, although it did not offer any further details on the authenticity of charges. Before Wu stood detained, Wu had repeatedly denied the allegations on his personal Weibo account, although later, a comment from his company hinted at pursuance of legal action against the accuser, terming the accusations no more than malicious rumors. The downfall of one of the most popular figures of China was rather quick to follow, as many of his biggest brand collaborators completely cut off ties and distanced themselves as the rape allegations made headlines. Wu's dramatic downfall further accelerated after his detention. His previously crazy popular social media accounts, including his Weibo page with more than 51 million followers, were all taken down. As the news took momentum, Wu's arrest had unsparingly become the world trend on Weibo, with comments showing the majority of the public standing firm in support of the police action. A Weibo hashtag related to this incident had been viewed over a hefty 1.6 billion times as of early Tuesday morning, completely erased overnight. Only a single day following the authorities having announced Wu's arrest, almost entirety of his online presence, including all of his songs and videos, his social media accounts, and his diehard fan forums, disappeared overnight as if he never even existed. This was either a courtesy of having been taken down or possibly simply banned by major Chinese social media platforms such as Weibo, Baidu, Douban, Douyin or Chinese TikTok, Tencent's QQ Music, and various other popular music streaming services. The majority of the platforms clearly cited either violation of community rules or relevant regulations and laws as the reasoning for removal of the pop star's content. As of now, the firms haven't given a formal explanation the exact specific rules they were referring to. Wu was not the only one burned by the rising #MeToo movement against him. Even the Weibo accounts of 3 female celebrities who defended Wu back in 2016 when a woman accused him of treating her coldly came into the folds and were also either banned from posting content or removed entirely. It is hard to figure out whether the removal of Wu's presence is the Chinese Cyberspace Administration's call in a nod to the public sentiment or an action taken by Weibo itself, says Fang Keqiang, an assistant professor of journalism at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. I tend to believe that at least in the case of the 3 celebrities whose accounts were suspended for voicing support for Wu, the termination seems more like an order from the authorities, he adds, because otherwise, Weibo didn't have to waste the traffic that could have been generated by the 3. The Chinese #MeToo movement. Wu's case is definitely not the only #MeToo scandal that has rocked China in recent weeks. Just this past Monday, a Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba announced that it had gotten rid of an employee who had been accused of sexually assaulting another employee on the course of a business excursion. In both these cases, victims have posted their allegations on Chinese social media, which has sparked an online uproar and prompted Chinese authorities to further investigate the claims. Quick and immediate action from authorities was praised online, who pointed to the 2 cases as an indication of the effective and efficient rule of law and criminal justice in the Chinese state. Yet, people question if this was simply due to the high-profile nature of both the cases, which goes on to highlight just how very rare it is for survivors to actually speak up on their journey to seeking justice. It isn't surprising that both cases have drawn such wide attention, given Kris Wu and Alibaba's high profile, comments Feng Yuan, a feminist scholar and activist. But this also serves as a reminder that for many other cases of sexual harassment and assault, if the accused are not so famous or influential, victims might not have their voices heard at all. Sexual assault survivors have far long faced serious stigma and resistance in China, both at the official level as well as amongst the public. The issue was pushed to the forefront in 2018 while the #MeToo movement took speed and went global. In China too, it encouraged more and more females to come out and share their own personal experiences with sexual misconduct and assault. However, as the government took steps to discourage the growing online discussion by censoring all related posts, hashtags, and keywords, the movement was quickly squashed before it could take root. Activists took these recent events as the perfect example that goes on to show that the Chinese government is still reluctant to discuss sexual misconduct as a systemic problem, instead preferring to report on individual cases and cast blame elsewhere. For instance, a government watchdog agency claimed that the Kris Wu scandal illustrated the black hand of the capital and the wild growth of the entertainment industry. And in an editorial, the state-run Global Times tabloid commented saying the Alibaba incident reflected a need for increased legal and moral supervision in the world of the internet, and for companies to better align their main objectives with the country's societal values. Quite understandably, neither of the alleged victims in both the Kris Wu and Alibaba cases linked their allegations to the #MeToo movement, because this would have easily drawn censorship to their cause on social media, Feng further added. Yet still, for many activists, the case duo still offers an undying ray of hope and a telltale sign that even though the government may not want to focus on instances of sexual misconduct, the public undoubtedly does. No matter whether they call it #MeToo or not, the essence is #MeToo, concluded Feng. Although most prominent feminist social media accounts have been censored, the victims can always manage to find their ways to speak out. Dissecting problems of the Chinese entertainment industry. If there's one thing that Wu's predicament and swift online removal proves, it's that public opinion matters and that modern-day companies are afraid to land on the wrong side of it. Luxury brands cut ties with Wu even before his formal arrest was made by the police. It was a direct result of tens of thousands of enraged comments on Weibo. His arrest is seen by many as a sign of China's determination to extend its rules and regulations to the entertainment industry, where celebrities' staggering paychecks have constantly infuriated the public, majority of who believe society is increasingly lacking more and more sense of equality. In an article published yesterday by state-owned Chinese news agency Xinhua, a sentence explained that Wu's arrest once again rings the alarm bell for the entertainment industry. However, what does this kind of cancel culture mean for individuality in the bigger picture? That's all for now. If you want to be the first to hear how Wu's case turns out, then don't forget to subscribe and watch our upcoming videos. Goodbye!